Okay.
Overall, how tough was last night to hear the news about Deontay?
It's hard, you know. It's hard as a team because, you know, we get attached to people as a program and as a family, and you see a guy that, with Deontay, that the work ethic that he has, you know, his ability to persevere, you know, not only through one ACL and he comes all the way back and then another, and he had himself in great shape, ready to go, and really just extremely difficult, you know, and kind of left me at dismay for a bit, you know. I was almost baffled by it. How could it happen again? This time on his good knee, with nobody around, nothing, you know. So, to Deontay's credit, you know, he's just an absolute stud about it, you know. I mean, I think he was obviously shook up like anybody would be, but you just see that guy's will inside, and you know why he's so unique and special, and why people love him so much. He's back out here again today with a smile on his face, and you know, and Coach, I'll be back, you know. So, you know, we're just got to do everything in our power to help him through this process, because it's not an easy one, but we will for sure.
Do you believe he can make it back? I mean, if anybody
I do.
could.
If anybody can, that guy. I mean, he just a great soul, you know. I mean, he'll battle again, and so you know, I believe it. You know, we talked about it. You know, the big guy upstairs got a plan for him. We just got to figure out what it is right now. You know, because he's too good of a person, and you know, he'll fight back, no doubt.
Do you intend to keep
the team about him at all?
Yeah,
About the same?
no.
What'd you tell him?
No, we talked about it. You know, the thing about it was 2 nights ago our meeting was kind of jubilant. The guys were having a lot of fun, and that's what I think our meetings are. What makes us so cool as a family, and this why I believe this team is so close. 2 nights ago, it's fun-loving. Guys are up, you know, kind of putting on acts and dancing, and then the very next night, I come in with that news, and obviously a somber room, but addressed it, and that we all needed to be there for him, and that was the gist of it, quite honestly. But it's just, that's what makes us, in my opinion, unique as a family, that we can go from one night in one mood, and the very next night we're in that very same room together talking about a guy's career and an injury and what he means to all of us in the program.
Do you intend to?
Guys with that kind of injury work hard and come back. I mean, was he like above and beyond?
You know, he did everything we asked him to do. I mean, I don't think he did any more than what the rehab called for. And his other knee looked great. He looked awesome, cleared, ready to go. And you know, I don't know if it's fluke. I don't know what it is that it could go to his other knee and have the same injury, and literally a drill where there wasn't even a person around him. You know, I mean, it was just extremely unfortunate.
Do you intend to keep him on the roster, or is it going to be like Con Porter, where he got the?
No, he's on the roster for now.
Okay.
You know, that's the next step is to have surgery, to go in and fix it, and then the rehab process begins.
What drill was it, Steve? What was the actual drill?
We were working ball exchange, inside zone, and
Was it a cut?
he just made a cut on air. I mean, nobody was around him. We handed him the ball, and he made one cut, and he didn't fall down. Nothing happened. I mean, he just kind of initially said, "Yeah, I think I tweaked my calf." I mean, that's how quickly it can happen.
Have you ever seen anybody deal with something like this kind of
I've never
stuff?
seen this before. I've never seen 3. I've seen 2 ACLs. I've never seen 3. So, but again, I believe this. Of all the guys on our team, we got some great kids, some tough kids. I don't know if there's anybody that will handle it better than Deontay will. And so, but he's going to need our support. That's for sure.
Is it procedurally? Can he still be a freshman academic or athletically?
I don't know. I don't think that. You know, I haven't done all the math quite honestly on it, Greg. But I don't think he can be a freshman. But I know he can basically get a regular redshirt year, then a medical hardship year, and then still have 4 years to play. So I don't know what the math is on that, but I think he'd probably come back as a sophomore, quite honestly.
Do you have any doubt that he won't want to come back? That he might?
No, I have no doubt. He's gonna do everything in his power to try to come back.
Does this impact your depth at that spot and anything you might need to do there, or how do you?
You know, a little. We're gonna get through this first week and allowed to see how our young guys mature here for a week and being in pads, and what Eric Wilson can continue to do, what Desmond Petty's doing, and then obviously what Jesse and Bishop are doing. In a perfect world, sure, we'd like to have a little bit more depth there. But I want to give the guys on our entire roster a chance to show themselves at their position before we start doing anything from a positional change standpoint.
Is practicing a little bit of a toll? We saw James Johnson out, Howley out, and some guys.
We're just kind of getting some fluke stuff. James kind of sprained his foot here. Actually, I don't know if he did it at the end of practice yesterday or in our walk this morning. Again, same thing. Kind of nothing, So that sometimes injuries can occur that way. Other times they, they come from the obvious stuff. You see a big hit or something, and that's not where our stuff's happening. We're getting it. Howley, sprains his knee with nobody around him again yesterday. So Nate Fellner hurts his foot today with nobody around him. So some stuff is obvious. When you see the big collision and things, or a guy getting pulled down in an awkward way. We've just had some bad luck, and so the good thing is that I think that we've got a roster with the depth finally to where we can withstand some of these injuries. Do I like them? No, but we're at a point now where we've got some guys that have opportunities to step in and play today and did some good stuff. Princeton hurt his hamstring here earlier in practice, and guys stepped in. Jamal Curse has an opportunity to step in. Scott Lohr gets to step in. Shaq got some more opportunities today. So that's the beauty of having depth. James Johnson goes out. You see more Jadon Mickens today. You see more Kendall Taylor. So that part's the positive out of it.
Is Howley's the same knee? Or?
Same knee. We're actually going to go in and scope it to make sure, that there's a thought that there might be some meniscus stuff in there. We're not sure if it's meniscus, maybe some scar tissue. So we're going to go in and scope him to be sure. At this stage in his as we're bringing him back, there's no point to not do that. 2 weeks at this point, I'd rather him miss 2 weeks now than down the road it affect him for the season. He's come so far to this point. We're going to take every precaution with those types of guys in this scenario. So we're going to go in and check it out just to make sure. It was tough to tell. We did the MRI. It was tough to see everything. So we want to go in just to make sure.
Anything on Fellner? Do you know?
His foot, we'll know for sure here. I got to go up and check it out, but we'll know for sure. Anytime a guy's feet are involved and he notices it initially, that's generally not great. Like James didn't notice his foot right away. He actually felt it this morning, and he couldn't even know if it was from yesterday's practice or this morning. So
right.
That one, a little bit more of a sprain, but when a guy feels it right away, a little bit more concerning for me. So we'll find out what it is.
Looked like Taz got bell rung a little bit.
He actually had some migraines that were bothering him. I don't, again, when anything with the head, we're going to take unbelievable precautions with it, and we just felt like the right thing to do is shut him down today. And but potentially could have been some dehydration or something. We don't know, but it felt he's had migraines in the past, and so that's what it felt like more. There weren't concussion symptoms by no means.
You talk about the defense a little bit. It just looked like guys had trouble getting open. Keith looked a little bit off, and they seemed to have some swagger on
Yeah, no, it was great. What was cool about today's practice was the offense really started well today. I mean, they had some good periods early in practice, and Justin and I talked mid-practice, and he goes, we're just not competing great. We got to get competing again. And sure enough, the end of practice, the defense came back, and the second half, that's where you win, and they did it. It was pretty cool to watch, and the offense missed some opportunities in that too. Miscommunication on the pick that Sean gets with Kendall down the middle of the field, and some bang plays that the defense was able to win on. So that's the value of competing and watching our guys battle back and not accept, well, we're not doing great today, the offense just keeps going. They kind of rallied the troops and got back going again, and had a great second half of practice.
Is everything Shaq doing safety, or is he doing some linebacker stuff too?
More nickel. He's in the nickel quite extensively. We're just trying to find, again, how do we get the best 11 guys in the field doing what they do the best right now, and then as we continue to grow, how we can evolve from that. So trying to get him around the ball as best we can, especially in the nickel situations. He'll get more shots at safety as we continue to grow, but he's got a unique burst to the ball, that's for sure. He gets to the football in a short amount of time.
Jake Harlan played a little bit at left tackle today. Talk a little about him. Did you notice him at all? Or?
Well, he's been going. That's what he's been doing. Jake is a terrific athlete. He's got great feet. He obviously, coming from Bellevue, his run blocking technique is tremendous. where we're continuing to work him as his kick, getting out of his stance and pass protection. And he's got great challenges in front of him when it's Holly Jamora or Josh Shirley or those guys coming off the edges, Andrew Hudson. So he's getting introduced to college football pretty quickly here, especially when it's the third down drills and things like that. But for a true freshman playing left tackle and working his way into it, I'm very pleased.
Do you see him starting in the season, or do you not know that yet? Is there any chance he might start?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's no chance he'd start. I don't see that in the immediate plans for us right now, if that's what you're asking.
Right.
What have you seen from Trey Watson? He makes a play
Yeah, he
just about
does.
every day.
Yeah, he does. He's a scrappy guy, man. He's got a very high football IQ. He has a knack for kind of understanding where the ball's gonna go. Even when a guy's catching the ball, he has a unique understanding of where the ball's gonna go to the tuck, and he gets his hand in there and finds a way to punch it out, or just gets great breaks on the ball when a quarterback's throwing it. He really has a nice feel for the game.
Sark, what kind of lessons do you want the guys to learn with Sean and Talia?
Well, the thing is, I don't doubt our talent level, and I don't doubt our competitive nature, and I don't doubt our schemes. I want to make sure that we're at a point now where we should pride ourselves in playing smart football and not making the dumb penalties. It's the same as yesterday. And what bothered me about Sean's deal today, that was a huge point of emphasis after yesterday's practice and last night's meeting. For it to come out today, his emotions got the better of him, and that's not okay. That's a selfish move. And the hard part with that is, and I addressed it with the team right here after practice, and Sean right there, Sean's arguably one of my top 5 favorite guys on our team. And so it's not about who you are. At the end of the day, we're all held to the same standard, and that wasn't okay. And he'll be fine. He'll be great. But it's a learning lesson for everybody, and we've got to learn from one another. It can't just be one guy at a time. We have to learn from that today.
Did you notice right after that was there a little different attitude change or a little different in just the way the practice went from there on out? Clean it up at all, or
I don't. I would have. If I was a player, I wouldn't have hit a guy late. If you want to say that, I wouldn't want to stand in the corner by myself either. So hopefully it worked.
He was actually on KJR while you were.
It might have been at least grabbed him.
Full pads tomorrow. How much contact?
It'll be. The cool thing about us in full pads, we might have 1 or 2 sessions where there'll be some live stuff, but the rest we're not going to be going to the ground. We'll be staying up. We'll progressively work ourselves into it. In this day and age, the whole notion of full pads sometimes a little bit overblown. all it is really a thigh pad and that knee pad that guys wear nowadays, about that big. So, it'll be good for us. We need to do some tackling. We need to tackle and practice tackling even our individual settings with the defense. But then we need to get tackled some too. Our backs need to get tackled, and we need to continue to gain information on those guys. And so there'll be some of that too.
What did you see with Creighton on Price? What did you see when you...
It had nothing to do with Keith.
Oh, okay.
Something else.
Oh, okay.
After the whistle.
Okay.